Location is a huge factor in successful home ownership. Just a mile, in some cases just a city block, can make a difference in home values, health risks, crime, and the general quality of life for you and your family. Everyone has different priorities, but neighborhoods that are more likely to cause trouble for your housing investment often share certain qualities. This is the topic of today's video: what makes or breaks a neighborhood, and what are the signs of decline. An anchor store, or the main attraction leaving a mall, or even a hospital closing its doors, is a bad sign. Once an anchor business leaves, other businesses will start to decline because they are dependent on the extra traffic those stores bring in. When this happens, especially in the downtown area, local restaurants and flower shops will have their days numbered. If these stores happen to relocate to an adjacent neighborhood, it is because they are searching for a new demographic by divesting themselves into a new market. If a mall in an adjacent town is drawing all the areas of retail traffic, then this is a clear indicator that values are decreasing. When high and rising property taxes aren't consistent with the public services offered, neighborhoods will enter into what some economists refer to as the failure spiral. That is when the local government begins to lose its business taxable income, and so to avoid cutting costs, they will shift that burden from the commercial sector to its residential. If, however, cutting costs is unavoidable, then you will soon notice that public transportation will slowly start to be scaled back. This is because the local government cannot rationalize the expense of going to that neighborhood. Secondly, you will notice a reduction in the upkeep of public parks and similar areas. With less money to go around, local governments will allocate the funds they have to essential areas of operations. If you drive by a neighborhood and notice the local park is going to the dumps, that is a good sign property values are too. A neighborhood going to the dogs doesn't just have to have a bunch of commercial vacancies. It also means that the residents don't want to live there either. If you begin to see a lot more listings coming on the market, that's a sure sign that demand is low and sellers are willing to accept less in order to sell quickly, which in turn has a domino effect for the remaining homes for sale. Likewise, many of the properties may already be vacant. When there's that loss of a sense of ownership, people start letting things go and they deteriorate. And that's exactly what happened in Detroit. So in order for homeowners and landlords to rent their properties quickly and cheap, they will convert those vacant homes into duplexes or apartments. On the surface, it shows that the landlord is looking for more ways to bring in revenue. It's just more affordable that way. If you can't rent out to one family, why not split it up and rent it to several? Have you ever driven into a community and noticed families outside, kids playing in the streets, and couples walking their dogs or just out for a stroll? If you have, then congratulations. You've just stumbled upon a neighborhood that's a strong sign of a sustained housing market. But what if women, the elderly, and children are nowhere to be seen? Then this is a strong indicator that people don't feel safe walking around at night. An early sign of a future decline in housing prices would be a declining public school population, meaning people moving their kids to private schools because the public services aren't as good as they should be. A definitive sign is when you see classroom sizes expanding or the dollars per student falling. That's a strong indicator that there are some broader issues going on. School quality and the proximity are a key driver for housing values. So what can you do to assure yourself that the neighborhood you are considering moving to won't go down in value? Here are 4 key things to look for when considering buying. Sale price in an area offer a good barometer of what's happening on the ground. A neighborhood where homes linger on the market for years, where owners constantly drop their selling prices or sell for much lower than they initially asked for, might not serve as a great investment for a new home buyer. Most of that information is publicly available. A real estate agent can answer questions too. Pay very close attention to small fluctuations in urban areas. In San Francisco, for example, by merely crossing to the other side of the street, you can pay up to 25% more for a comparable house. If you see streets dotted with out-of-business signs, or if the school looks in dire need of upgrades, the area might not be for you. Evaluate the quality of transportation. Areas with better transit options tend to hold their value more. If you spy dirty streets, poor local services, few recreational facilities, or a shortage of restaurants and other amenities, you may be witnessing signs of a neighborhood in decline. Purchasing property in such an area could put your investment at risk and create havoc in your daily life. If you're looking at a specific house or apartment, pay close attention to what's nearby. Some things that might signal a less desirable area are lots of traffic and noise, potential hazards such as a power plant, built on a landfill or former swampland, roads and sidewalks in disrepair, shabby, run-down or vacant buildings, near railroad tracks, under flight paths, near commercial or industrial areas. Driving through a prospective neighborhood and looking at the condition of properties nearby can help you spot other signs of a declining neighborhood. Poor yard maintenance, shoddy landscaping, discarded junk in driveways, gardens growing weeds, and broken fences could mean owners lack pride in their homes and possibly in their community.